obviously top of mind is security. All right. And, what are you doing, or what are Linux and Rocky doing around security, perhaps, signatures, or I don't want to speak for you, but signature checks, or, what other security features can you comment on?
Benny, you want to go first this time?
Sure. So I'm going to say the default of security is absolutely where we've started. So things like including SBOM stuff, like that's just the default at this point. It has to be, because we all know that that's going to be there. Infrastructure security as we're going through the build process, that kind of stuff. Obviously, signatures are like that. That's almost not even worth saying, right? Because that's the kind of stuff that has to come by default in an operating system.
Table stakes, yeah.
Right. The things that we're excited about are engaging additional, they end up becoming sponsors almost always, but engaging additional companies and specifically security specialists in a way that helps us identify anything that we don't see by default. Obviously, we have the backing, the like massive support of a number of companies that have huge investments in security. Obviously, Cloud Linux is the first one that comes to everybody's mind, because they've been dealing with hardening Linux for more than 10 years. But we've also got our other two platinum sponsors, Code Notary and CyberTrust. CyberTrust we just announced a couple of weeks ago, and it's been a huge just like validation for what we've been going through working with them as we continue to build that security for the entire project.
You want to comment on that, Greg?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I'm going to go back again a little bit, because I think as though some context is really important to know why we did some of the things that we did. Early CentOS, we didn't have a way of kind of managing some of the security context. We weren't building things in the cloud. As a matter of fact, it was being built on personal systems, laptops, personal workstations, and then the artifacts of the builds were just being posted to various mirrors and then signed by the individuals that were developing those packages. So it means we had to have the the keys, those private keys, like the keys to the kingdom in a matter of speaking, for the operating system was in the hands of numerous people. And the way that you manage security in that sort of an environment is you keep that team very small and very, very, very trusted. And that kind of created an initial culture of CentOS, which was always kind of a small team. And that team has been, and really, I just want to give props to that team. The team that has carried the weight of CentOS, going from inception all the way through Red Hat acquiring it, and then even beyond. CentOS had a number of hurdles that they had to get over, and it survived and thrived, I'll even say, due to the dedication of those individuals. So big hand to those people. It's a huge amount of work that they put into this. But I also just want to now go back. That culture of the small team was because they didn't have the capabilities. We didn't have the tooling at that point to properly manage builds, operating system builds by a number of different people. So one of the things that we decided with Rocky is, before we go and build the operating system, we're going to go build the infrastructure to build the operating system. And we started from scratch, from nothing, and started building this up. We started the first version of our build system. We were leveraging the Fedora tools called Koji, Punji, and modular build system, etc. And we replicated that. We did this because we wanted to ensure that individuals can come and contribute packages, maintain packages, and add packages to Rocky Linux in a way that doesn't compromise security, like what we had earlier with CentOS. We want to make sure that the team is always growing. I have a saying that many people on the Rocky side would know very well at this point, which is, an open source project has to be growing. If it's not growing, it's dying. And so you have to always be expanding and bringing more people into the project and giving them roles of seniority and leadership and whatnot. But to the point, you have to be able to grow the project, and you can't grow the project if you don't have an infrastructure necessary to manage that secure pipeline and provide SBOMs and validation of trust and security of what it is that you're building. So right from day one, we started with that focus. We then, by the way, we did decide that Koji, Punji, and modular build system and the whole Fedora stack is fantastic, but we decided it didn't really meet our build requirements. So we went and built a Peridot. And Peridot is a completely cloud native build system that somebody can go and Helm install. And well, we're still smoothing that out, making it easier for people, but it's still a lot. But we're getting to the point where it could be Helm installed, and you can literally just start building on top of pretty much any Kubernetes that's out there, and people can then replicate everything we're doing. But as part of that, again, we're talking SBOM, we're talking validation of all assets, signing and transparency throughout the entire process, and enabling people from the community to be able to come and not only maintain packages, but also expand with special interest groups.